Hi everyone, we're going to look at Tom Cruise's birth chart revealed. It's going to be all revealed. You're never going to believe it. So right away, let's look at his chart as we go down the list and show you. We're just going to look at 4 things in his chart that to me is very profound. We're going to look at his ascendant right here in Scorpio. Then we're going to look at the stellium on top of his chart, and I'll explain what that all means, but I want to give you the 4 things, and then we're going to look at the bottom of the chart here in the 3rd house with his Saturn-Aquarius challenges of dyslexia. And then we're going to also look at the Mars and Neptune quintile. So let's start. So first of all, I want to, if he were sitting across from me right now on this Zoom call, we would be having a conversation. And of course, we're going to start with the most powerful part of the chart. I'm not going to read the whole chart because that takes 90 minutes. So without further ado, we have his sun is in Cancer. He's born July 3rd, 1962. He doesn't look his age. He has Mercury in Gemini in the 8th house. Okay? So he's got strong Gemini traits. Also, he's got the major portion of the chart here with force and power is the stellium. A stellium is when you have a big traffic jam in one area of the chart in one sign. So he's got the moon, the north node, and Venus, which are very personal. And then his midheaven, which is the sector for his profession and career, and that is where the accomplishments and goals are oriented. Of course, in the sign of Leo, which has to do with what? Performing, having fun. Quite the actor he is. He's the king. That's Leo. And we have Uranus in Leo as well, which gives him that freedom of the career because he calls the shots in everything he does. So there's all that power and that intensity in his career. He loves being a Leo. He loves all the extravaganza, but he's also, I'm sure, very charitable and giving and generous. 2 counts because he has Neptune, the charitable, compassionate planet, right on his ascendant. So let's move to the ascendant, and that is how he appears to other people. He might not see himself as intense and all or nothing extreme as other people do. And as I said before in the highlights, you have Neptune, which represents filmmaking and a bunch of other things, but it's forming a quintile, which is like an urgency and obsession with action and activity, being bold and courageous on a very practical, mundane level. He does take a lot of risks, okay? The other sign of risk-taking is Sagittarius, and that's in his 1st house, and his part of fortune is in Sagittarius, which is the big risk taker of the zodiac, and that is his greatest joy, success, and prosperity with all this adventure of Sagittarius. Now, you can't make this stuff up. So you're going to say to me, well, how does that happen? Well, we're not done yet because the astrology chart is co-created with you. So Tom Cruise sat down with all the advisors in the other world, the invisible world, when he was spirit, a soul, and says, I want to learn all this. I want to be the king of entertainment, and I want to have high adventure in my life to make a lot of money and be able to travel and have all the freedom that I want. And I want to use my imagination and fantasy in a very intense, powerful way through action. He does most of his own stunts too. And I believe he climbed one of the highest buildings in the world in Dubai for one of his movies. So we're not going to get into all the details, but it would be nice if he said, oh yes, that is true. And, we could even, once we start talking, we could look and see how his emotions are, if they're fiery, if he gets hot, like a real Leo. They're fine until they roar like a lion. We don't know. But because the moon is so close to his north and opposite his south node with Saturn, he came in with the idea and the mission, of course, to have responsibilities, big responsibilities, and have some major challenges in communication. And the Saturn next to the South Node, because Aquarius is very smart and they're very friendly, they're very scientific, humanitarian. So he came into this world with that kind of energy. But Saturn is the absence or no planet, or very difficult. Maybe it won't even happen. And it's in retrograde, which also means that there'll be struggles and late bloomers in the area of communication, but they will master it, which is very powerful, because this is where the dyslexia could come across, and it must have been very emotional for him, but this was his purpose. And in filmmaking, and also being a producer, there's a lot of reading, writing, and comprehension. But he mastered it, and he became the king of it right here. It's all in the chart. I'm sure with all these quintiles, he might have very strong urges with communicating and the greatest success, prosperity in Sagittarius, or communicating that I want to do all these stunts. And I'm sure the producers way back when, they could have said, well, maybe not a good idea, you could get hurt. But this is obsession. And then with a Scorpio rising, even more intense. So let's make sure that I covered all the bases. Neptune is the planet ruler of Pisces. Pisces is in his fourth house. So Neptune also in Scorpio. So those are two water signs. And then he has Jupiter and Chiron. I wouldn't be surprised if he was very intuitive or psychic, just has these hunches and goes with them, because he's very successful too. And he uses these energies. He's got a grand trine in here. There's a lot going on. He's got a T-square. And so these are all patterns that reveal more and more layers of who he is. So Neptune is filmmaking, fantasy, escapism, imagination, psychic abilities, especially when we're having relations with the Jupiter Chiron in the Pisces, okay? Especially in the home life, you know? That's the big deal there with Neptune. And then with Mars in Taurus, which is a fixed sign. So when they want to do something, they keep doing it. It's like a dog with a bone. And with that obsession going straight to the Neptune. And so he does the stunts in the films. But with Neptune in its own house, in the 12th house, in Scorpio, that very deep water sign, and it has to do with psychic abilities, ESP, and the mysterious world. So it's like many times saying the same thing. I'd like to find out what kind of dreams he has, if he channels everything, that kind of question for him. So again, Neptune is retrograde, which means that he could have had some struggles with imagination or just spacing out, being too trusting, attracting all the victims, anything, being overly compassionate and that kind of, just dreaming a lot or daydreaming, especially at home. But in school, it could have been rough. It could have been a challenge because of the square. And they probably didn't know what was wrong with him because it's hard to diagnose dyslexia. You have to go to a special psychologist and they do tests. It's an IQ test, and then they look at the subtesting to see if there's dips and valleys. So, is there anything in this chart that surprises you? Please put it in the comments below. I didn't have a chance to cover everything because I am taking a class myself. A great astrologer always takes classes. I've been learning about astrology for over 55 years. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I always want to learn more, and I provide a better service that way. So Tom is living his cosmic mission. And if you want your chart decoded, just hop on my website and click on Book Now, the natal chart, and we will spend a nice 90 minutes or more. And we never leave you hanging. I never leave you hanging. And then I end it with a psychic reading. So let's just pull a card for Mr. Cruz as if he was with me, because tomorrow is opening night and he's gonna the movie's gonna come out, and let me know if you plan on seeing the movie. And the card is freedom, and he loves his freedom, I'm sure, and he might come. And Tom Cruise, if you're out there and you see this and you want to do your chart reading, that would be fun, and we could show the world how it works with you interacting. So freedom. Thank you so much. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Share it with your astrology friends that might get a charge out of this. And subscribe so you never miss another video from me again. I will talk to you so soon. Have a wonderful evening. All my best. Bye-bye.